Comic-Con. So I went for a little bit. You didn't go, but I think you were following the news.
No, I'm scared of crowds. But I am going to Gen Con next week.
That's cool.
So close.
It's very similar.
Different vibe.
It's a convention for board games. It's a little slower.
And role-playing games.
A little less flashy, but it's still very fun.
Yeah.
I like role-play games myself. So you can come back and give us a report about that when we get there.
I shall.
But this year at Comic-Con, there were a lot of exciting things going on.
Okay.
As always, San Diego's Gaslamp Quarter becomes a huge damn mess, just full of people, lines, activations, shouting, heat.
So the lines are as bad as people say.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, I have a couple friends who were there, and most of their posts on Instagram were while waiting in lines.
Yeah. It's hard, but there's just a lot of different activations. I think different media companies, even if they don't really fit the mold of what Comic-Con is, just want to be there and want to be pushing whatever it is they're doing, because now it's very much, not even a pop culture con, not a Comic-Con, it's kind of like an entertainment con.
Yeah, big movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the bigger trailer releases later. Okay. But some of the smaller things that I enjoyed, we did get to see a full trailer for Matt Groening's Disenchantment, which is coming to Netflix sooner than you might think, in August. And
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you should.
What's it like?
John. Okay, well.
Animated?
It's animated.
Okay.
It very much looks like, the main character, Princess Bean, looks a lot like Nelson to me. I think it's that overbite. Elfo looks like Bart. If you look at Elfo, I think you'll see exactly why. But there are different voice actors. Well, actually, they're not voice actors. They're just actors. So there's like character actors like, Tress McNeely. But this one is more, people you might normally see in sitcoms.
Okay.
So it's this fantasy world, and the princess doesn't want to get married. She wants to go find her own thing. It's ridiculous. It's not too much like The Simpsons. It's kind of more like Futurama, but not really. But I like that.
Seems more up your alley recently anyway.
Which is?
Futurama, rather than Simpsons.
Yes, I like Futurama a lot more than I like the collective whole of The Simpsons, despite being a Simpsons trivia master, but not better than Lori Beth Denberg. I will never get over that.
My So-Called Life?
No, all that.
All
that,
from
the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
So there were some other fun things as well. Did you see anything that you were interested in from the news?
Not necessarily news-wise. Some of the trailers that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and obviously
I'm
some of
trying
the
not
news
to
about
include them, but I really want to talk about them.
Yeah, and obviously even James Gunn and stuff like that. But I like to follow cosplay, honestly. That's some of the most impressive stuff.
What's the best cosplay you saw?
In terms of tech, like not in terms of the art necessarily, but in terms of the tech, there was an Infinity War Spider-Man that had the articulating spider arms coming off the sides that he could manipulate. That was pretty cool.
I saw a Thanos on the floor, and his face had that big raisinets or California raisins chin.
Yeah.
And it was strange because he's a CG character, but he looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I do watch the news for is to find out which celebrity put on a mask and walked among us.
Mark Hamill!
Yeah. It's been some good ones in the past, but yeah, Mark Hamill.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him a lot as a person and an actor, so that was fun as well. I took NerdAlert's producer, Andrew, who is not here, to the Taco Bell Demolition Man experience. So they have, in Demolition Man, Taco Bell is the only restaurant that survived the franchise wars.
Obviously.
And all restaurants are Taco Bell, and it was surreal. So there was a pianist, because they were playing this upscale restaurant vibe.
But were they doing?
But he was singing restaurant commercial jingles. So he'd be like, "Give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar," just over and over.
That was pretty good, I thought.
And it was it was weird because I felt on one hand, oh, this is like where I would go, to celebrate a major occasion because I'm not that fancy. But then it's also like, here is your supreme taco.
But was it like that big?
Well, they gave me the plate that they had in the movie with the chips, but they also gave me a Crunchwrap Supreme Leader, is what they called it. It was a little taco with like a piece of like crunchy cheese. And they gave me nacho fries, and they gave me Cinna-Twists, but they were strawberry.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
I think it made me sick.
Oh, okay, well,
but I could have gotten sick from
So even in the future, Taco Bell is Taco Bell.
Yeah. Oh, and I had a Mountain Dew cocktail.
Fancy. But you do most weekends, so.
No.
They need to bring back Demolition Man, by the way.
Yeah, I was hoping
so
this would
good.
be like with a big announcement, like we're gonna redo it or we're gonna re-release it.
You do a prequel.
They had the 3 shells. Still, no one knew what to do with them.
Did anyone leave you alone with them?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, then you can't find out.
I
You need to
can't find
experiment.
out at all.
Yeah.
It was really strange.
Cool.
I also went to a nerd night, which is like it's kind of like TED Talks with alcohol, where they have like different like specialists talk about a different topic. So ours was on Mars, so we had an actual astronaut talk and some NASA engineers.
That's cool.
And yeah, it was really fun. I don't think that's very
Do TED
typical.
Talks not have alcohol?
I don't think you're supposed to. I've been to TEDx only though, so I wouldn't know.
I've never even been.
Yeah.
It seems really very exclusive.
TED? Yeah, TED is.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of other stuff going on. There was a massive group cosplay for Rose Tico from episode 8.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know her last name, actually.
You didn't know her last name was Tico?
Yeah, Rose. Okay. Did, I don't know if it's really included in it, but I know, this is so nerdy, but the announcement of D&D launching 2 new campaign settings, including a tie-in with Magic the Gathering.
That's actually a really good thing. I'm glad you brought it up. That was over at a shop, huh? This is on camera, it's mine. They're launching 2 new, I think isn't like the World of Magic the Gathering involved?
Yeah, so they're both owned by the same company. So they're doing a crossover with Ravnica, which is one of the planes that Magic has, I think, twice returned to. And then they're also relaunching Eberron, which is the originally community-created or fan-created community setting from 2003 era D&D, I think.
Eberron's a fun place.
Yeah. And what's cool is that they've done these tie-ins with Magic the Gathering for like 5 or 6 settings as free like downloads. I guess it's less cool that now you have to pay for it, but it is more in depth.
That is cool.
It's a bigger thing.
That was a big launch.
Yeah. And a lot of nerdy people do both of those things, so it makes sense to combine them.